Hi, everybody. My name is Tyler Wood. I'm the product manager for Beacon Training Plan, the replacement for EDS. I'm super excited to show you all what we've been working on this morning. Thank you.
Amazing. So as Tyler mentioned, we're going to talk about EDS and Beacon, and this training plan is especially for you. So let's begin with our agenda. Welcome and objectives. We're going to talk about the training plan launch and features and benefits. We're going to have a system demonstration with Tyler, where we're going to talk about life cycle of a training plan, participant view, host view, and international representative view. CIEE staff finalize and approve. And great news, with launching August the 27th for the transition timeline. We'll give you more details about that soon. And we're going to have a Q&A. You're welcome to leave questions or comments on the chat. Our colleague Erin is going to be monitoring, perhaps Brandon as well. And if you have major questions, please join us for the Q&A at the end. So today's objective, what we expect to get out of this session is that you will know about the training plan migration to a unified platform for all CIEE intern trainee application requirements. Also its key features and benefits, when it will change, and how to work with finding and creating training plans in the future. So hopefully this will be what you get out of this today. Of course, as we mentioned, if you have any additional questions, you're welcome to ask. So key features of the training plan today. We're going to look at the car view navigation. This view of faces gives you a lot of information in a small amount of space. So it's easily digestible in seconds. And for participants and international representatives, this is. We're also, we've listened to your feedback and the need to improve some aspects of the platform, so we have an improved integration. So for participants and you as agents in the training plan, it'll be associated with all the needs and located in the placement tab at the top of their application. So improved integration. Streamlined ability to update main program supervisor and phase dates, an important feature as well. Beacon EDS results and all frustration. So it phase dates for participants and able to edit in one view rather than look at a long string of error messages and trying to determine what changes must be made. So hosts will receive messaging informing them of expectations, overlaps, errors, all in one view. And finally, ability to add customized text to highlight updates needed on training plan content. So this is for all users, and there will be next steps and detailed help text throughout the training plan, not just at the top. So this will show the actions you can take and if there are any steps that you need to take before completing those actions. I'm sure Taylor will give you more details on all of this. And without further ado, the system demonstration by Tyler Wood, and I'm going to stop sharing.
Thank you very much. I'm going to get started in just a second. First, I didn't mention earlier that this is actually my 10th year with CIEE, and I spent much of that time on the participant services team. So I've talked to a lot of hosts, a lot of participants. I've also worked on the operations side, working with a lot of you. So happy to bring that experience mixed with all the help from all the teams in developing this new system. I'm going to start sharing now, and what I'm going to do is go through a set of applications. We're going to look at training plans in different statuses. We're going to look at inviting hosts to training plans. We're going to look at adding signatures, adding phases. Overall, we're going to walk through pretty much all of the steps involved in a training plan within this new system. Along the way, if you have questions, because we have such a large group, like Antonio said, please put them in the chat. Be happy to come back to them at the end. My colleagues can answer them as well. And if there's any kind of common themes or anything like that, we'll be happy to take a look at those at the end. So first, just to show, here we are in a Beacon application. And this is where we will start showing all of our new training plan technology here. So first, when you click on placements at the top of an application, you'll begin to see that things look a little bit different. We've worked with a UI UX designer to change the look and feel and update this whole system to have a kind of more modern, clean feel. So the Invite My Host panel will be very familiar to you. All these fields you've filled out before, not a lot of this will change. So similar to in the past, you'll be able to search for a host organization here. Be able to select how this job was located. Be able to select a host contact. You'll be able to put in your basic information here. Submit to CIEE. Now, what you see when you finish that process is that the training plan becomes immediately active here. So welcome to the new Beacon training plan. This is the CIEE staff view. So I'm logged in currently as myself, Tyler Wood. So I will see a few bits and pieces of this application that will be a little bit different than what you will see. We'll cover those in just a minute. But first, I wanted to show you another example of that invite process. So let's say we're inviting a host. In this example, we invited a host that has a current active host profile for this year, meaning they've already been vetted, they've already been approved. We've been able to vet their host organization profile. And so when we add them to a training plan, the training plan becomes immediately active. They can start to fill out details right away. If someone adds a host to a training plan who has not been approved yet, or who is in process, let's add an example like that. We'll do Tyler's Restaurant or Tyler's Bistro. Just knowing that that's not a current host organization. We'll do address, so we're adding kind of information for a host that doesn't exist right now. If I submit a host who's not yet ready, it will display this host profile and review. And this is where it'll start the process of review with the various teams that will take a look at the host profile and talk to the host before they're ready. Once this host profile becomes accepted, it goes into its final accepted status. This training plan view will automatically become available and the host will be able to proceed with filling out the training plan. So from this CIEE staff view, I'm going to show you a couple of details. I'm then going to switch over to a host view, show you what the hosts will see, and I'll show you some of the features and some of the things that we've added to the training plan here. Okay, so up top, you'll see that the host profile, the participant fields at the top here, they update live from the application. So let's say you go in and you change someone's field of study, you change their degree, you change their phone number. This information will integrate directly from the application. There's no need to fill it out twice. Down below, you see one of the tools that's for CIEE staff. This is setting the occupational category. Hosts, IRs, participants will not see this information. I'm showing you here just to show you some of the tools that we've incorporated. Down below, you'll see the name of the company, the main program supervisor, and all of those details. And here we'll see this orange box called Next Steps. Next Steps is sort of like taking the various places you'd look for information in EDS and putting it in one box. So the idea is that In EDS, you'd go up and you'd have multiple steps to look at. You'd have different bullet points that show you different things. What we've done is we've really condensed all that information down into a simple next steps flow that will show either the host, the participant, the international representative, whoever's looking at the training plan, exactly what they need to do next and nothing else. Once these various steps are completed, you'll begin to see buttons show up here that allow you to sign and submit the training plan. You'll see that in a future step here. Down below, you'll see we have the primary site of activity panel. This can be hidden or expanded. And here, all of this information comes directly from the host profile. So let's say D&T Avionics here, goes in and adjusts a piece of information. They adjust their worksite team size. As long as the training plan is in its initial status here, it's being worked on, this will update. So all of this information means that hosts and other individuals don't need to fill out information in multiple places at multiple times. It all integrates. It's one of the big benefits of putting the training plan into Beacon. Down below, we'll see compensation and program details. I'm just going to enter a couple of details here. You'll see that we have pay amount, pay frequency, kind of all the stuff you'd expect to see. A lot of the fields on the training plan are going to be familiar to long-term hosts, familiar to IRs, familiar to other individuals who've worked on training plans before. Down below here, we have another CIEE staff-specific tool, the ability to add scholarship amounts. This does not relate to many programs, but there are some programs where there is a scholarship. This allows it to integrate automatically. When we save this, we see a live update here. This little green check mark appears, showing that the primary site of activity portion has been completed. You'll see that the next steps view now says use add phases and phase supervisors to lay out the training plan. It also directs you to an instruction page if you need to take a look at that. Down below, you'll see the beginning of the card view here. At this point, I'm going to change to another application that's been partially completed so that you can see, you'll be able to see more when we look at that. So here's a view of another training plan where some phases have been added. So you see we have this card view of phases that allows phases to be filled out and added quickly. I'm going to switch over to look at what the host sees here so that you'll have an understanding of what this looks like from the host perspective. So here I am signed in as a host. I've gone to my Prex Participants tab option, and I see the individuals who are in process. I see the individual that we're just working on, the training plan. I'm going to click here. And you'll see that the host has their own version of this view. The host doesn't have access to the application, of course. We don't want to give them more information than is necessary, looking at the application or anything like that. They have their own view. It's up here at the top, you'll see it's this training plan, and then a unique identifier. The training plan for them looks a little different. You'll notice that this is simplified. There's no occupational details here. You'll notice that the various options that we saw for the CIEE staff view is different. They don't have a scholarship view down here. So really each view for each individual shows them only what they need to see and only what they need to work on. Down below, we'll see the phases that have been laid out already. And I'll show you that when we add a new phase, there's a couple of lovely things we added here. Number one, when you add a new phase, it will automatically pick up the end date of the previous phase and give you a suggestion here. So we see that the previous phase ended June 11th. Here, that means that the new phase will populate here with June 12th. We can select a phase end date. We can add our details as we'd like. We can also click I am the phase supervisor. When you're logged in as a host, it will automatically fill out your details. You can enter your phone number at the bottom, or you can search for different users. So for example, these are the users associated with this host account. And what will happen here is that um, users get added to a host account when they're added as the main program supervisor. So let's say in our other example that Tyler Wood is added as a supervisor to a host account on a training plan. The next time I go to fill out that training plan, or let's say I fill one out in 6 months, if I want to add Tyler Wood as the main program supervisor, I can enter Wood, I can enter Tyler, I can enter my email address, and I'll be able to search for all users associated with that host account and be able to really quickly and easily add a phase supervisor, a main program supervisor, various different users to the training plan, so long as they've been either added to a training plan before or maybe part of the host account, so long as they have some connection to the host already. So when we add phases, they show up in this card view. This allows users to come in here and fill out, let's say there's 5 phases. They could fill out all 5 phases at once. They could then come in and add details to those phases as they'd like. They can do all sorts of different things while they're in here. So you'll see that the phases here show up in different versions. So they'll say pending, they'll say completed once they're completed. When I come down here and sign the phase, it'll create this pop-up that says sign phase. They'll select to agree. Then you'll see that it automatically gives them a view of who should be signing. So in this case, it's the primary supervisor, today's date. So we'll enter that and sign. We'll come over and fill out this other phase. I'm just going to put some dummy text in here so that we can fill it out. When we come back up top, we will see that both of these are listed as completed. We'll see that the next steps now has a button on it that says sign and submit training plan. This means that we can now take an action. The host can sign and submit. When they sign and submit, this progress bar will move. So the progress bar has been set up to show 4 distinct statuses. One is in progress. That's when the host is brand new and filling out the training plan. Once they sign, this will become about halfway full. I'll show you what that looks like now. And we'll come to training review. So this means that the host has signed. It's now time for the participant to sign. After the participant, it'll come to the international rep to add the insurance dates. And after that, we'll move on in the process. So this training plan bar gives, instead of the 6 boxes that the previous version of EDS had, this now has a few distinct categories, and we'll move along as we go. Okay. I'm not going to show you, I'm going to return to the CIEE staff view here. I'm going to refresh and it'll show it all updated. I'm going to move on to third application in just a second. One thing I wanted to show you is the ability to edit phase dates. This is a tool that we've put in that makes it really fast and easy for users to change the phase dates for an individual. So before, what would happen is if there were errors in the dates, you'd see a list of those errors at the top of EDS. I'm sure you've all seen that before. You need to go down and adjust each phase. Part of the design of this system was to try and make as many pieces of this process built into this small area as possible. So from this one kind of small view, you can open the primary set of activity details. You'll know your next steps you're supposed to do. You can change program supervisor or edit. You can edit phase dates, edit from the card view, edit your phases. So the goal here is really to make as much information available as possible in a small space. So part of that is this edit phase dates. So we'll see we have two phases here. If I select edit phase dates, it allows me to edit them in series here, which means that I can change individual dates. And it'll give me live updates as to what's wrong. So for example, here it says there's a gap between these two phases. Obviously this one ends November 30th, 2024. This one begins December 7th, 2024. So it'll tell me there's a gap. It will not allow me to save until I make an adjustment. Once I do, I'll be able to save it. Similarly, if I go over the amount of time that program can be, it'll show me that error. Basically, it'll allow you to edit phase dates all in one view and in one quick kind of process. You click edit phase dates, you get live updates as to what's happening. You'll be able to make all those changes, and then the calculation of how long the training plan is, start date and end date, number of phases will update at the top there. Okay, so let's take a look at what the participant sees here. Here I am logged in as a participant. I'm going to click on View My Host. This tab has been sitting for a while, so it probably wants me to log out and back in. Just a moment. Okay. So this is a training plan that is most of the way completed. It's now in the participant review step. There's a couple different ways of navigating to this view. As you saw from here, I can click right on View My Host. You can also click on View Application and then go to the Placements tab at the top. Either of those is fine. And at the top here, we'll see it's a participant review of training plan status. You'll see from the participant's perspective, the help text up here updates so that it takes away the phone number and the email address and directs them to contact their international representative while they're filling out a training plan. Down below, you'll see that this training plan has 3 phases. We'll be able to see further down below the history of changes. You'll see that I signed this one in preparation. So we'll see the history update as we go. Every time that a major step is taken, either the host signs, the participant signs, the international representative signs, or submits it, that history will update. At the top, we'll see this is ready to sign and submit. So here we can sign and submit training plan. Again, the participant gets the terms of service that they expect. It will ask them to sign off, either by typing their name, copying and pasting just to make it a little easier. Once they sign, we'll see it'll go to the International Representative Review of Training status. And the participant's view of next steps will update. It says the training plan has been signed and submitted to your representative for review. So what would that look like for you? You're going to go into that view. Sorry, many tabs open. So here we are in the Manage Applicants and Participants view for us. Here I'm logged in as a USIND international representative individual. So I can see the people that I've been working on here. When I click on placements, I'll be able to see the status of the training plan. I'll be able to see that here it says the training plan has been signed by the participant. Please complete the program dates to proceed. So down below, we'll see we have this insurance dates selection. This will allow us to select program dates for this individual. This will ask us to make it no more than 30 days. So you'll get help text if it's less than that amount. There we go. And you'll see it will go through to April 30th, how about that? Save insurance dates. Now that we've saved those, we'll be able to submit the training plan. So this is the step that will be taken in order to submit it to CIEE. So we'll come down here. If we've made a mistake and we need to adjust this again, we can edit, we can change, cancel, we can save. So we're going to submit this training plan. It updates to training plan is complete. CIEE is now reviewing. Again, we'll see the status reflected up here, and we'll see the status reflected in the status bar here. Returning to CIEE staff view, I see that this has been updated to CIEE review of training. And here's where I'd come in and add my occupational details, which are required for the upload to Viper and to CBIS. And then I'll also show you a couple of other tools that we've implemented here. So number one is this send back training plan option. So you probably remember that in the older version of EDS, there's an option for us to send back a training plan to a host that often sends an email that gives some details about what the host needs to change, ask them to make a change to specific phases of training plan. We've worked on building that into our replacement for the training plan here. So what happens is we can enter text here that says, hi, thanks for filling out your training plan. Phase 1 orientation needs to be a little bit more detailed. Please include a few more sentences. And when we click send back to host, this will actually appear right at the top of the training plan. So when a user logs in, be it a phase supervisor, participant, IR, whoever, they'll be able to see this sent back to host view at the top, giving them really specific instructions about what's needed. When they go down, they'll see that it doesn't automatically unsign the phase, as there could be different things to adjust. It could be different people who need to sign the phase, but they'll be able to go down and say, okay, I need to make an adjustment to the orientation phase. I'm going to remove my signature. I'm going to make an edit to, let's say, the specific goals and objectives. I will sign it again. I'm going to sign it as myself just for expediency. When they come back up, they'll be able to sign and submit the training again. And move it back to participant review. So it really gives us a way to send back a training plan, have that feedback show up directly in the top of the training plan here, and then follow it through to its next step. So far I've showed you a bunch of things. I've showed you how we add a host to a training plan. I've showed you, when that host will become active. So when they have an approved host profile, the training plan will become immediately active and ready for them to add phases. I've showed you the primary set of activity tab and those details that they need to fill out. Showed you how hosts will add a supervisor and add phases to a training plan. Showed you the edit phase dates option. Once a training plan reaches its final status, its final ARO signed status, there will be a couple of other tools that will be available to you. One is the select extension. So you'll be able to initiate an extension in the same exact way. So the button will appear here once a participant becomes CIEE active. And once they're on program, the option to include an extension will be added here. It works similar to the send back to host view. Up here, it will say set back to host extension. We'll ask them to add an additional phase and then put it back into review. So we've really built in every tool, taking into account, experience with the training plan, what people might want out of this replacement for EDS, and really trying to think in detail about each step involved. So really, we've tried to make the process for hosts submitting trainings smooth, make it easy for participants, make it easy for you. What you don't see here is the notifications that have been implemented, and I'll talk a little bit about those now. So for each of these statuses, there's a couple of different things that happen. One, we have implemented the ability for hosts to get notified when all of the phases are signed. If the primary program supervisor is the phase supervisor on all the phases, they won't get notified because they're signing their own phases. But if they've set, another user as the supervisor for phase 3, for example, once phase 3 is signed, they'll get a notification to let them know that their phase supervisor has completed their task. We've implemented approval notices for participants. So when a training plan gets approved, they'll get a quick notification that says the training plan you have with CIEE has been approved. We've implemented a number of other notifications for supervisors that they've been invited to Beacon. For example, so let's say you're adding a supervisor here using change program supervisor, or adding someone as a phase supervisor. If they've never been into Beacon before, they will get a welcome to Beacon email. They'll be asked to log into Beacon. And then when they go to their participants tab in the hamburger menu, they'll be able to get right to the training plans they're associated with. As a phase supervisor, if I sign in, I will only be able to edit the phase that I'm assigned to and sign that phase. So we've introduced a control there. Now, overall, we added a number of notifications for different people involved. We will be updating the selection for international representatives to be notified of different statuses for hosts. When participants get to a different status of their training plan. So for example, if you wanted to get notified of all participants once they reach the participant review of training plan status, you'll be able to select that for your Beacon user account. So overall, we tried to make it as easy as possible for hosts, as streamlined as possible for users who are already in Beacon, like participants, like international reps, like our hosts, and really implemented a lot of technology and techniques to kind of make this flow as easy as possible and integrate data from Beacon where we already have it as much as possible. One thing I didn't show you from the participant view, I can show you right now, is this print button. Where possible, we've tried to keep EDS functionality that people have used and appreciate this print functionality being one of them, where it will generate a draft, the DS7002. When this reaches its final ARO signed status, this will update and will no longer have that draft overlay. We also have the ability as CIEE staff to reset the invite. So anytime we need to adjust and reset for an individual to put them on this path again, we can do so. Those are the major pieces of functionality I wanted to show you and walk through. I'll be happy to stop sharing and see if I can answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Tyler. And I'm going to share my screen again as we recap. Thank you so much. Appreciate the transparency. That ability to see CIE's side as well is important for partners. So that's great. And all the details you've shared, very exciting moment. So please feel free also to share your excitement on the chat and your questions. This Beacon training plan functionality summary here is the most important aspect is one plan, one platform, one login. So less passwords and bookmarks for hosts to keep track of. And so it's one integrated system for program application and training plan. Yes, excitement, streamlined ability to update information quickly, drop-down selection capabilities for program supervisors, contacts, etc. Detailed help text and next steps, more intuitive user interface, and as important is coming the last week of August, and now we know the date. So official launch email announcement will be sent on the 27th of August. And after this training today, we will email a recording of this session, the user guide, and frequently asked questions. So please note that training plans in progress or completed already will remain in exchanges. That is exchanges.ciee.org or EDS for the length of the program. So anything that's older, anything that has been completed, including this training session today, will be in EDS. Training plans created after August the 27th will be in Beacon, right? So for questions, you can always contact our amazing international operations team led by Rachel at iops@ciee.org, iops@ciee.org. And that's it, time for questions. So we have plenty of time. Please feel free to raise your hand or drop a question in the chat box, or just unmute yourself. Go ahead. Who's here? Let me see. Oh, somebody's just joining. Okay. Any questions? Questions? Okay. I guess good job, Tyler. Just a couple more minutes just in case. Anything you want to add? Anything, any comment? Let me check the chat. This is awesome. A quick one I would like to ask is when and okay, here it is. So Tyler, you're responding. So the question was, when an IR edits the face dates, does this unsign the faces from supervisors? So Tyler, did you want to add something to that? Or
No, I would just mention that the edit phase dates option does not unsign phases. It allows the main program supervisor or various other users to adjust those dates, but it will not unsign. So for example, if you have a phase supervisor who signed off on a phase, main program supervisor goes in and says, okay, I'm going to adjust that phase end date or phase start date. It doesn't require them to re-sign it.
okay.
Or other edits, content details, edits that are required for compliance reasons, it will, but adjusting those dates, no.
Okay, perfect. Any more questions? This is your chance. We still have time. Okay, I guess not. So thank you everyone for your participation, for your interest in this amazing product, for this opportunity to interact. You will receive a copy of this recording and some additional details by email. Remember that all of this will sit in EDS for now until August the 27th when we move to Beacon, but you can still come to EDS and revisit all their training plans and all other details. You're not going to lose access to that. So for the time being, you will have the two platforms available. Appreciate your time and have a great rest of the day wherever you are. And thank you, Tyler and team, for your hard work. Have a great day. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Bye.